Hey guys, it's Mandy Gatlin with Discover Your Energy. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I just want to go through a couple of things with you guys before we get started. I'm very excited that we're here connecting, and I have a lot of information to share with you guys. I'm going to try not to take up too much of your time. I have some slides I'm going to go through with you guys. So you can definitely listen in if that's the best way that works for you, or watch the slides if that works for you too. But I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to connect, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm just going to take a minute here and connect over. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let's see. All right, so there we are, and I'm gonna kind of increase this little box here so you can see me okay. And I have some slides to show you guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that. So this is the company that I created about 10 years ago. It's called Discover Your Energy, and the work that I do is mostly educating people about spirituality. And we'll get into a little bit about why that is. But the whole idea behind my company is to help people that are going through spiritual awakenings, to give them the information and the education to help them go through that in a really peaceful way, because it can be kind of a scary thing. I went through it on my own. I'm going to get into that with you guys. I went through it on my own, and I was terrified going through it. So the whole point behind this company that I've created and the work that I do is to help people connect with their spirit even more, on a deeper level, and to feel at peace about that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. So why are we here today? We're here basically to see if you and I are a match. I am going to go through a couple of techniques and tools, and the whole idea behind this is to see if you feel called to open up to your gifts even more. My name's Mandy Gatlin. I'm an energy worker. I'm also a medium. And my whole goal here is to help as many people as I can to go through their spiritual awakening in a very peaceful way. I want you to feel supported and have guidance and be able to ask questions through that process. Now, how this came about for me in terms of this whole like interaction that we're having right now was actually through a meditation. I've been receiving guidance all through last year. I was receiving guidance that I would be working with people in groups and on a higher level. So I just want to put this out there, see if this is for you, and if it is, then we're meant to be. Okay, so where are you now? Generally, people that come to me, a lot of my clients that come, or people that are referred to me, they're feeling stuck, they're feeling confused, they're going through something major in their lives. They are starting to feel things in their body, and they don't know what that is. They start hearing things and seeing things, but it's like not necessarily words from other people. It's like they're hearing something inside of themselves, maybe a phrase or a name or something like that. And as far as seeing things, sometimes visually, they start seeing things out of the corner of their eye, whether that's a light or colors. Visually, they are opening up, and audibly, they're opening up. This can cause high anxiety, and most people who are going through some kind of spiritual awakening, they don't realize that the reason that they have anxiety is because they are spiritually opening. So it does go hand in hand, but there is a way to mitigate that. And oftentimes, just coming to terms or like realizing that it is your gifts opening up can help to dispel the anxiety completely. So just know that the anxiety is definitely telling you something, but it's probably just that you need more information or some help, okay? You might also be experiencing a lot of sleepless nights. You might get tired after being in crowds. You might feel overwhelmed when you're in big groups of people. And generally, people who are going through a spiritual awakening tend to lack clarity because you're going through a transformation. Everything feels so new to you. And so you don't really have clarity about where to go next, what steps to take. So it can be very frustrating. So if this is you, and this is basically, we're just asking this question, is this you? Are you feeling frustrated and unsure about your path and your next steps? You might also be the type of person that tends to be there for others. And so people are always coming to you for help. You tend to be really resourceful. You might be a go-getter, meaning you're able to like tackle things. You know, when you're in your flow, you're really able to tackle things and help out. That's when you're in your peak, when you're in your high time. But right now you might be lacking clarity about how you can help others. And you might be feeling a little bit like you have this calling, like there's something like a deep down burning desire for you to share your gifts in some way. So if you're like me, then you may have tried reading a ton of self-help books. I know I've read hundreds of them. Counseling, you might have tried to go to get help, you know, with somebody who's just a regular old counselor, and maybe they're starting to label you with different labels, you know, and it's starting to feel a little bit sad and uncomfortable for you. They may even be putting you on medication for some of these things. It could show up as depression. It could also show up in the other way. It may be high anxiety or ADD. So when you have a spiritual opening, it definitely shows up in many different ways. And my goal is to help you understand why that's happening and to help you feel a little bit better about it. But then it also tells you kind of what gifts you have. So I don't know that until you and I talk personally, and then I'm able to really help you understand, you know, what these symptoms are that you're having and exactly what that means for you. So you might have also been trying to talk to your friends and family. Some people don't, some people just keep it quiet. But if you have been talking to your friends and family, then they might be saying things like, oh, maybe you should go see a counselor, you know, or maybe they are trying to help you, but they feel frustrated because they don't understand what you're going through. You may have been also trying to go to seminars, and that's okay. Maybe that's helping or starting the process for you, but it doesn't really give you the personal attention. It doesn't really help you access your own personal gifts. It just can give you examples about the different things that are out there. And you may be trying retreats and getting away. And I often do recommend for people to travel, to go on a retreat or to create some space, you know, from their normal life. And yet maybe that's still not giving you everything you need, which is more or less information. So that's where I come in to help you connect, you know, with what you're going through and to give you that information. So what will this webinar, this video do for you? I'm hoping that it helps you see some of the things that you're experiencing, to see them rather as signs or guideposts for you. Now, it's very easy when we're going through things to feel overwhelmed, by all the stuff that's happening in our world, and to kind of be taken down by it, to just feel emotional, to get sad, or, go through the whole like angry, whatever the emotion is that's coming out of you. But I want to help you understand what is happening to you and why. I also want to empower you to understand your gifts. And that's what we're going to do in this webinar. I want you to be able to use your gifts to bring through better ideas or next steps for yourself. That's why they're called gifts. They're meant to help you. They're not meant to discourage you or block you, along your path. But if you don't know how to utilize them in the right way, then you're definitely going to feel discouraged. I also want to offer you steps to get you on track and give you some tools that you can start using right now. So that's the whole point of this webinar. I want to give you real practical tools. Even though they're spiritual, they're very grounded in nature, and they're things that you can do. So who am I? I'm Mandy Gatlin. I'm an energy worker and a medium. I want to give you a little bit of background about myself so that you can see, if it feels like a fit for you. I started out getting messages when I was a little kid. I was very young when this started happening for me, and I was very frightened and didn't know where to turn. I can remember being in my bedroom and literally seeing spirits appear in my bedroom, and I would go running to tell my parents, and they claimed them as me just having dreams. And so that was all that I had in terms of information. So I would go to the library and I would look up books about dreams. And that really did start me on my quest to understanding what was happening to me and why. Luckily, the dream realm is very close to what we go through in our spiritual awakening process. It's almost about one and the same. We are able to tap into a different state vibrationally when we go into our dream state. And it's very close to what we tap into when we're accessing our gifts. And so the dream books actually did give me some support and some guidance, but back then I had no one to turn to. I mean, there was nobody that I could talk to. And so the books really started me on my quest and really helped me understand, why this was happening. And for the most part, it was pointing out that my dreams meant something, that there were signs. And so that got me thinking, like, okay, something's happening when I'm in that, deep sleep, the relaxed state. I'm actually getting information. Something is trying to come through. Well, what is that thing? Here I was, this curious kid, trying to figure out, like, what is going on here. So at some point, way down the road, okay, I went through school as a normal kid and still was experiencing all these little things, in the night and during the day even. And I just kind of lived with it. I was terrified all the time, but, I lived with it. And I fought it a lot. I didn't want it to happen to me. I actually thought that it was like I was being punished at times. I went through many different layers of things, which we're going to get into. This might be happening for you too. But at some point, I got some teachers and I got some help, and that really helped to solidify my personal journey. And now I like to pay that back and I want to help others. So that's where I am with this and trying to help you. So I want to see if this is for you. This is kind of like a little quiz or like a little test to go through for yourself, to see if this webinar, if this concept of spiritual awakening, if this is you, if this is what you're going through. If it isn't, that's okay. You may be going through something completely different, and I still encourage you to try to educate yourself and find out, more about it. I mean, that's what's going to make you feel better. But in this case, this is all about spiritual awakening in this webinar. So if this is for you, then you're most likely what I call a mediator type. You usually are the person who is the mediator in the family. That might mean that, there might be squabbles happening in the family, but you tend to be the person that kind of sits back and listens and then says, well, so-and-so's got this point and so-and-so's got this point. And it tends to be also that your family comes to you for advice, or maybe your friends do. They might often call you like an angel. Oh, you're always helping. You might feel like the good girl or good boy in the family. You're always the one that's kind of like assisting, with anything going on in the family. You might always be trying to calm down people or calm down your family. You're known as like the peacekeeper. You're the one that's always keeping the peace, even though you might be seen as like the black sheep of the family. That's also something that can happen for this type. Even though you're known as the black sheep, people still actually think of you as the peaceful one. You're the one that's like more or less keeping the peace. You usually do what's right for people around you, or you're accommodating. Now, often this can cause a lot of trouble for people, and that's usually when people come to me for readings, is when they're being overly accommodating in their family situation, where they're just basically like letting everyone dump on them, letting everyone take advantage of them in terms of their energy, and that can cause you a lot of distress. So you might also see what's truly going on in the family. You're probably the one that has more like the bird's eye view. You're usually the one that's like, oh, I just know, what's going on here. And you just know that deep down, in your innate heart, like you just know what's going on. And once again, often another quality is your friends tend to call and dump on you because you're the helpful one, you're resourceful, you're always willing to help. But you also have this quality where you love to see people succeed and you want to help people have a good life, live really well, and just have like a better life. So if that feels like you, then you are aware. That means that you're most likely an empath, that you are a highly aware being, and that you have opened up to your gifts in some way, and the floodgates have basically opened up for you. Now, you might be in a place where you are seeing things for people. Some people are visual, okay? So that means clairvoyance. That means that you're actually seeing, you might see a flash or a vision. Something might come to you. You might be doing that naturally right now and not even know, what you're doing. Or you might be seeing things and it's starting to freak you out. Okay, so that could be where you are. Or you could be hearing things drop in, all right? That's clairaudience. That means that you are receiving messages for other people around you, and you just hear it. It just comes in. And when someone asks you, like, how did you know that? You just tell them, I don't know, I just heard it, Or you might feel things in your body when you're around certain people. And this is a very common one. It's generally how most people open up. And it's called clairsentience. It's basically when you get like a feeling in your body. It could be that your stomach starts to go off always when you're around a certain person. Or it could be that your neck gets really stiff, or you start to cough, a lot, or you could get like the tingles, on your arm when something is said to them that you know to be true. So I know getting all of these hits of different things, that's why I wrote, because it's like, what do I do with all of this? I mean, when that stuff starts happening to you, it can really either feel like a blessing or a curse. You can feel like you're just, you're sometimes you're getting the information and you're like, okay, yeah, I got that right. And then other times you get this information and it's just like coming at you from every place. It's not under control. And it just feels overwhelming. And at times it can feel like a curse. I'm going to give you guys an example, a story of mine when I was younger. I'm going to tell you that later on, about how that really started to get to me personally. So you might be in this place where you're finally going, okay, I need help. I'm burning out. I can't keep this up. I am frazzled. I am depleted. I am basically like, I need a checkout. You might be in a place where you just feel like you need to be recharged and nourished, and you want to understand how to feel more balanced about your gifts. And you might even be in a place, in a situation, I'm just going to say this for the people that are watching, they tend to be going through something huge in their life, a major shift or a major change, or you're just about to. And this is why you're watching this video with me. And so it's a little bit of preparation, for you to know that I'm here to fully support you through that. And it's interesting how we go through something really challenging, and yet at the same time, it's all about helping your gifts to come out even more. So I'm going to get into that a little bit more later in the video, but it is something that definitely happens, and it happened to me. It happens to a lot of people, a lot of mediums, a lot of psychics, a lot of people with gifts that I know who are energy workers of some sort and do help right now. So I want to give you guys 3 tools that you can use to help you stay more balanced. These are things that are very easy to use. They're very effective, and they work right away. They're things that you can teach to your kids. You can teach them to your friends, to your family. These are things that once you get a hang of them, they become fun. And they're things that you can be playful with. So that's what I would encourage you, how I would encourage you to use these, okay? So my top tip, this is my all-time favorite one because it was a huge aha for me when it happened to me, is saying not right now, okay? So what I want to get across to you is just a basic understanding of energy. If you're watching this video and you believe in any of that, then you know that you are energy. You may have not fully grasped that yet or understood it yet, but you are basically an energetic being having a physical experience, okay? So when you are going through these things, when you're having energy and you're feeling things, hearing things, seeing things, it can get very overwhelming, and you may end up experiencing things like hearing, noises in your house, okay, or you might be feeling things in your body. And it might start to feel a little bit scary, to you. I have people that come to me and they're telling me, oh my God, I woke up and I was being choked, or, and I have to sit and try to convince them that that's not evil, that it's not a bad thing. It actually means that they're opening up spiritually, and they're like, huh? But just hang in there with me and I'll show you. So let's say, for example, that you're seeing something in the night. Okay, this is what happened for me. When I was younger, I would wake up, and I would wake up because I was hearing this chattering sound, like loud chatter. I would wake up, I would open my eyes, and there would be my whole room filled with white lights and beings. And they were sitting together or standing together, and they were chatting. Okay, it was like there was a party going on in my room. Now, the best way that I can describe this is like going into a nightclub, only everybody is white. Okay, like lit up with light, not white like me, white, like lit up white. Okay, like they're all glowing. And it freaked me out. Okay, I would close my eyes and be like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And I could still see them. All right, even through my eyelids, they were still there. All right, so I would wake up startled. My heart would be racing. My mind would be racing. I was feeling, just like freaked out, scared. And this is often like, the best way I can describe it, it's like taking a high-powered hose and blasting them all over the place. All right. And what worked for me was, and this is how I discovered it by accident, actually. No one taught me this. I got up out of my bed after this had happened many nights in a row. I got up out of my bed, walked to the bathroom, and as I was walking to the bathroom, I basically said, go away, not right now. I am trying to sleep. And you know what happened? It all closed off. It all went away. And I went to the bathroom and I was like, what? This whole time I have been bothered since childhood. I could have just said, not right now. I could have just said, go away. I have control over this. Like, I can close this down. That was a big eye opener for me. Okay. It was like big. So this is the tip that I want to give to you. Know and understand that you are an energetic being, but things are not happening to you. Okay. Things are happening, but they are here to help you, and you can control how much this comes through. All right. You do have the ability to control that. You are not a victim to this. You can actually direct the energy. That's the word that I want to use. Okay. You can direct the energy. So you can tell it when you want it to be on and when you want it to be off. You can open it up or you can close it down. Think of it as a hose spigot. Okay, where you are opening up the hose spigot when you want it to be stronger, when you want more of it, and then closing down the hose spigot when you want it to be closed and not as much. Okay, so know that you have the ability to invite them in when you want, where you want, how you want. You can create boundaries for yourself, okay, with this. So that one is huge, all right? That in itself should help you guys if you're feeling like overwhelmed by all of this. You should feel tonight, if this is happening to you, or even during your day, to start putting that tool into practice, the not right now tool, okay, that you can tell them or tell spirit, right, or that world, you can say when it's off and when it's on, okay? So the second tool that I want to share with you guys is what I call the catch and switch tool. And this is actually one of my favorite tools, and I use this in a very playful way. I give the example that's very easy to remember. It's like when you're driving around in a parking lot and you don't see any available spots. And the reason that you're not getting any available spots is because you're in a negative place in your mind. And all you're doing then is sending out the vibration into the universe that all you see is filled up spots. Okay, so you just keep putting that out to the universe, and the universe obeys. It gives you exactly what you're thinking, right? But you can change that. And that's where the catch and switch comes in. So if you're able to catch that negative thought and switch it into a different thought, okay? Basically, once again, using that concept of guiding the energy, then you can ask for help. You can basically say, give over or surrender to the universe and say, okay, angels, help me find a spot. All right. So use whatever you like. I like angels, but you can use whatever, you want. If you want to have a guide, a person that's on the other side, a loved one that you like to talk to a lot, somebody who's over there on the other side that can help you out. All right. Then basically catch that thought, switch it into something else. Now, this applies to so much, you guys, in your lifetime. When you work with me, you're going to hear me talking about this concept quite a bit, because as human beings, we are almost like overrun by our thoughts, and they can just control you and get you into a place where you're just living from a negative state, and that's all you're emitting to the universe. So you're going to see me, hear me, and feel me when we are working together. I'm going to be catching you in moments and helping you switch. And so it is a practice. It's very hard to get on your own. But when you have help, when you have someone helping you with that, it gets you into that place of like, okay, I get this now, and you can be playful with it, and you can start using it to your advantage. So this is definitely one that you can use in your everyday life. You can even suggest it to friends if they're having a hard time or not seeing the good, in life. All right, so the third tool that I want to give you guys is the recenter tool. And this is really one that is very special to me, and I use this one all of the time. I suggest it to people when I'm working with them in readings. Pretty much every reading that I do with a person is about helping them to recenter. And what does it mean to be off center? Basically, you'll start to feel like you're off track. You might be asking tons of questions all the time. You might be spinning your wheels. I call that, like when your mind is just going, okay? Spinning your wheels all the time. You don't know which way to go. You don't even know how to decide on something. You feel cloudy. You're confused. You're hesitating all the time. You're feeling frustrated, upset, sad, angry. All those emotions come in various times, for you. Basically, to use the recenter tool, the very first step is you have to shut off the noise around you. You have to find a way to get quiet and still. And that, again, is not easy for people. So often when I'm working with people in a reading, I will generally help them see, either through the catch and switch tool, or I will have them stop for a minute and we'll do some breathing and meditating. And that always helps you to get recentered. It always helps you to come back down into your heart space and feel your own heart. Okay? And then you can ask from a place of like your true heart, and you can allow your head to help you. You don't have to let your head overrun you. Okay, so it's connecting the head and the heart. But oftentimes we're so much in the head, we don't even give our heart a chance. to speak. So this is a really great tool if you're just feeling like just questioning all the time and can't make a decision, really don't know which way to go. Basically, just stop and ask your heart what it needs, what it wants, and where it wants to go next. Okay, so that's just a simple tool that you guys can use. So you guys, these are just a few tools. These are things that I am always giving to people when I'm working with them one-on-one, when you're going through something really extraordinary, a huge change, a huge shift in your life. These are things that I always point out, to people to help them out. And then with time, they start to understand how to use them to their advantage. And these are gifts that are accessible to you when you are spiritually awake. Okay? When you are awake and aware, then you have these tools at your disposal. And some of the others that, I haven't even gotten into here, knowing your yeses and nos. All right? How do you know energetically when something is a resounding yes for you and when something is a no for you? What is it in your body that's telling you that? Okay? Knowing your core values. Many people that I meet with, they have never taken the time to do their values. They don't even know what a value is. How can you go through your life and know your life path and live your life and meet someone who is going to be a match for you if you don't know your values? Okay? So that's another tool that we'll go over. Knowing your team of 5. This is a huge one. When I work with people, I'm always seeing they are surrounded by the worst group of people. I mean, not to put people's families down, but oh my God, people's families and their friends even, they make them feel guilty, for wanting to go through some change in their life, or, for wanting to better themselves in their life. Their friends or their family members will actually say things like, yeah, but you're going to leave me behind. They'll make them feel guilty. Okay. You have to learn to surround yourself with your core team, your 5 people who are going to help you, assist you, and get you through this. And I mean actual people, you guys. I mean, you can have one of those or 2 of those people on the other side, but I'm talking about actual physical living beings. Okay? You cannot get to where you want to go by yourself. You need help. You need people around you who are positive, who are knowledgeable, and who are willing to be there for you, give you assistance, and just be there with all their heart, and also have that connection, right? There's people that you're going to meet on your path that have a soul agreement with you, and they're here to teach you a lesson or help you, in some way. The other tool is being able to read emotions just as information. This is something that many people get discouraged because the emotions are constantly overwhelming them. I get this all the time. People calling me, they just keep crying. They can't make it stop, or there's just so much anger and rage in them, and they are judging that in themselves rather than being able to step back and just see it as information. So when you work with me, we get a little bit more into that on a deeper level. Okay. So the name of my company is Discover Your Energy. What does that mean? Okay. What does it mean to discover your energy? As I was describing earlier, your energy is it's your spirit. Okay. It is who you truly are. All right. It's tearing off all of the programming, all of the beliefs, all of the funky, gunky stuff. And it's the true you. All right, underneath. I usually refer to this as the true you, underneath. All right. When you discover your energy, you're tuning into a higher vibration. Okay, so you're channeling information or bringing information. You're connected to some kind of higher power. We don't know what that is. All right, some people maybe do, and they claim they know, what that is, but I don't. All I know is that there's definitely something bigger than me. Okay, and I call that source. You may have a different word for that, but basically you are tapping in to that higher power or that oneness energy. All right, because we are all connected, and it's understanding that there's more to you than just your physical body. Okay, so you're not just this shell. So many people that come to me, that is one of the very first things I have to do with them to work them through this process. They believe that their spirit cannot exist unless they have a physical body. You guys, your spirit is eternal. It is hundreds of thousands of years old. Okay, it's been around for a long time, longer than your physical body. Okay, I keep pinching myself. This is my physical body. All right, so this is to discover your energy also means your body. You understand that your body is a guidance system. Now, your energy body is residing in your physical body, and they are connected. They are one. So your physical body is picking up information all of the time, and it's giving you guidance, and you can learn to partner with that and feel blessed about that, not like a victim to it. You might be having disease pop up in your body, and right now you're thinking, my body is not working with me. You might be thinking that, but actually your body is very intelligent. And if you have a disease, that means that something is going on with your spirit, because they are one and the same. They're directly connected. So when you work with me, we go in and we see what that message is, right? What's going on there. So when you understand that your energy body and your physical body are connected, then you realize you have information at your fingertips in every moment. In this moment, the next moment, the next moment. You constantly have that information, and it helps you with your decisions. It makes your decision-making process so much easier when you realize this. The cool thing is this doesn't require a lot of work, all right, for you guys. And it's totally free to access at any time. Like you can tune into it in any moment. All right. I have people that come to me, and the reason that you and I work together is because I'm teaching you these things and giving them to you so that you can learn them, embody them, and feel empowered. And then you don't have to come to me all the time. You only come to me when you're like stuck again and you're feeling like, okay, what is this next step that I'm going through? Then that's when you come to me. But when it's like the everyday decisions, no, you feel more empowered. You feel more in the flow because you're now connected to your spirit and to your energy. All right. So how can you do this, right? How can you channel this information? How can you bring this guidance into your own realization, to your consciousness? Basically, this is about getting guidance about whatever situation you're going through. So I like to use, if you feel this is right for you, okay, then most likely you're going through some big shift or some big change in your life. And I like using that situation to help you realize and understand your gifts, because it makes it applicable. It makes it so that you can use this information for everyday stuff, for everyday things that you're going through, okay? When you do bring this guidance through and you follow it and you allow it, it allows you to recharge. It actually brightens your energy. It's about receiving love from a pure place. Okay, that means that you are allowing yourself to connect with something that is this feeling of oneness, greater energy. And that means that you have to open yourself up to love. All right, no more being in fear. This is about being in a state of love and not from a place of being courted to people. Okay, this is probably, I mean, I put it on here as just a very small thing, not from cords from others. If you read that line, that is one of the biggest problems that I see in people when they come to me. People have cords. They're corded to so many people around them. And if that person is your family, they're negative, then you already can't go. Like you already cannot soar because you have that cord, that bind with them. Okay. This is about connecting to something greater. All right. Not just those cords, but rather the bonds, the love. All right. And you have to figure out what that is to you, right? If it's God, source, a higher power, whatever it is that is giving you divine information, if you haven't even tapped into that, then when you work with me, you're gonna be blown away by the beauty in this and really what can happen for you. Okay. You will have access to teachers and guides for knowledge. You will have access to angels on the other side. I mean, basically any type of help that you need, all right? You will have it at your fingertips. If you are an empath, then you are most likely getting feelings in your body. You are most likely seeing things in your mind's eye, okay? And you're probably hearing things drop in. And being an empath means that you are like a sponge. You're picking up, it's all information coming in. And that can be very overwhelming. And sometimes it can even cause aches and pains in your body that aren't even yours. Okay. So that's another thing. I mean, I put it here as just a little tiny line, but it's such a huge thing for people when they realize, like, you might be walking around the mall as an empath and picking up everybody else's energy, and all of a sudden go home and just you might have like shoulder aches and back aches and all kinds of stuff that you picked up from other people. All right, because you had yourself wide open and turned on, and you didn't understand how to be closed down. So that's a big one for people. What I want you to know is that you are not a victim to this. Okay, it's all messages. That's all it is. It's all messages coming through. And once you get that, you'll learn, like, okay, it's a message. All I have to do is acknowledge that it's a message coming through and do something with it. And then everything just starts to shift and turn around for you. So these things that are coming through to you, this means that you have sensitivities. We call them sensitivities because it means you're sensitive. It's like when you get the little like tingly feeling in your arms, or the hairs stand up on your arms. That means you're sensitive and you have gifts, and they can be used to help others. All right, you're not a victim to this, you guys. If more people, if the hundreds of thousands of empaths who don't even know that they're an empath knew this would be huge. I mean, there would be an immense amount of healing on our planet on so many levels. And it would also become a new way of healing because it is not accepted. It is something that we are striving to push to have it as acceptable, and it is just now starting to be acceptable. You guys, I will tell you, I am a psychic medium. I am claiming that phrase. There are many psychics out there that don't like using the word psychic. It is what I am. I have accepted that, and I am proud of it now. And I have to tell you that because I am that grounded in what I do, I have doctors, I have nurses, I have psychologists. You guys, I have people who are Western medicine people who come to me. I am getting lit up on the back of my head right now, telling you guys that. That is my yes. Anytime I call them confirmation tingles, anytime I get that, that is my yes. Okay, so there is something going on there when you have the Western community and they're stumped over things, right? And they feel like something isn't quite right about things, or that their methods aren't capable of completely healing people, okay? If they're coming to me, a psychic medium, someone who is self-taught, self-trained. Now, I have had teachers. I have had to seek out those teachers. Those are people that some of them have been good and some of them have been bad. But for the most part, I have taken the good from most of them. And I look for patterns. And these are things that I'm constantly looking at and assessing and going, okay, why is this happening right now, to a group of people, a whole group of people? We're talking worldwide. When I get calls, messages, texts, emails from people, they are all over the world and they come in floods and it's all at the same time. How do you explain that? Okay, it's not the news, you guys. These are people that are having actual symptoms in their body and they want to know what's up. What's going on. Okay, so this is interesting to me. I'm letting you know, this is the level, this is the caliber of people that are coming to me. These are doctors, they're nurses, they're psychologists, they're teachers. I have many, many teachers, school teachers, all kinds of coaches. I have teachers that come to me because they want to know more about what's going on with them and their connection to all of this and how they can help. All right, on a much deeper level. We're talking like massive shifts and changes, for people, not just on a micro level, not just like little tiny changes, we're talking massive change. Okay, so these messages, you guys, they also help you. They get stronger with practice and time. This is not something that just from this webinar you're going to be able to go, okay, I have the catch and switch tool, I'm all set. No. This is something that you have to bring into your life and make it a life change. That takes time. And that takes support and it takes patience. Okay, so just know that it's going to take practice. All right, continual practice, consistency. So you might be asking, what do I do with all this information? Right, the information that's coming to you, not the information I'm giving you today, right? But the actual messages, the bombardment of all these messages, the feelings you're getting, and like all the sensitivities that are going off. You're asking, like, what do I do with this? Right? I mean, it's overwhelming. If you don't know what's happening to you in the first place, you're probably going nuts. Okay. But you're probably getting messages in many different ways and you don't really know how to control them or what to do with them. It can be frightening. I mean, some of the messages that I had coming through when I was younger, I had spirits coming to me and they would morph themselves to get my attention. And I was like freaked out by that. Okay. But then with time, I started to realize that they were just doing that to get my attention. That was the only reason that they were doing that. So again, it's being in a heart space with these things. It's understanding that this is not evil. It's not, there is low vibration. Okay, I'm not going to say that there isn't, right? But I want you to claim today that you want this to be about you being in a state of love with it, that you're only going to allow that love vibration to be with you, and for you to only receive messages from a loving place. Nothing about fear, nothing about scaring people, okay? That this is all from a place of love. And also, you might be getting anxiety, heart palpitations, upset stomach, restless sleep. You guys, those are all symptoms that you're definitely a sensitive or an empath, okay? So I give you the blue pill and the red pill. All right, if you've seen the movie of The Matrix, you can read this quote. I should move my myself here. Okay. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, okay? You guys, I'm not messing with you here, all right? This stuff is real. I am a discerning person, and when I was going through becoming a medium, you better believe me, I was asking questions and I was going, is this even real? Can this even be possible? I mean, to know names of family members, you know, when I'm sitting with somebody and giving them a reading. This stuff is real. You are energy, okay? You can either, if you're watching this, you've been exposed to it now, and you cannot take that away. You can try, okay? You can take the blue pill if you really want, you know, and go back to living a mundane life and feeling stuck and being a victim to your gifts and having all kinds of anxiety and just feeling crazy. Or you guys can take the red pill and you can fully grasp that you have gifts. You can understand what's going on when you're seeing things, when you're feeling things, when you're hearing things, and know that all of that is about your path. All right. So I ask you, you know, which pill do you want to take? I mean, it's up to you. I know it's not easy. For me personally, when I was going through all of this, I wanted the blue pill all the time. I was like, make this end. You know, this is horrible. I don't like this. And at some point, that all shifted for me. When I got into a space of love in my heart and realizing that, okay, for me personally, being a medium meant that there were people that were trying to come through, and by me telling them no, it was like saying to a crying child on a corner, you're not important. When I had that realization that there are loved ones, you know, that are trying to come through and communicate love to their family, their friends, and I am saying no, that's not right. Okay, you do have a choice in this. You can say, you know, I don't want to be a medium. That's fine too. Okay, but there are so many gifts in opening up to it. When you do, you start to understand that they have chosen you to come through to because there's some piece of information that you need too. All right, so this is very tricky in how this is all happening and why it's happening, but I need you to trust, you know, that it's happening for a reason. Okay, so what is needed right now? And why are people having spiritual awakenings? Okay, why is this happening on such a rapid level? For one, when you are awake, when you are aware, it helps you have a direct connection to spirit. I think that's a good thing, because times are shifting, things are changing, and we're starting to emerge into a new paradigm where it's not really about going to others to feel connection. Okay, it's more about you understanding your own energy and knowing that you have a direct connection at any time. This means no more subduing it through medication. That will be huge. You know, if we can get to a point where we don't we don't need to medicate people, you know, to get them to feeling okay, that will be huge. If you can, once you start to understand that this is just information, that these are just gifts, it brings your anxiety down naturally. Okay, then you don't need medication. This has been shown when they've taken people who cannot manage being in our Western culture, they take them and they put them into indigenous tribes with a shaman, and immediately that person starts to feel okay. All right, so that tells you something. Indigenous tribes actually see these things happening as gifts, and they use them in their tribe. They go to those people like me, or you know, people that have this happen to them. They go to them for as a resource, you know, and for help. We need our environment to flourish, okay, and we need groups, and we need acceptance, and we need positive energy. I mean, if you look at the news, you guys, I mean, if you look at the world and the direction, we've got to make this massive shift. And I know, because I've already seen it, you know, and actually I've seen it for many people's paths when I open up and look at their full timeline and their path, that there are groups of people that are coming in to help with this, right? To help shift things and change things. And that just happens naturally. There's always balance. There's always balance. Things are not going to just go to hell here, okay? When we have bad happening on that level, help will come, okay? It's up to you to open up and understand that if you're watching this, you're probably that help. You're probably meant to be helping in that way, okay? So not to make you feel like freaked out or like you've got like this major, you know, mission, but you know, many people do, and they just don't even know it. So this is a picture of a friend of mine, Julie, okay, and this is a real living example of someone that came to me in the midst of when I was going through my own personal hell, okay? And that's why I want you, if you are feeling like you're going through something major and it's like I can't handle going through that and also helping the world, like what are you asking of us, lady? No, the reason that you're going through what you're going through is to help your gifts open up, okay? That was huge for me too, a big realization. So Julie came to me when she needed help because her daughter was in a coma and she didn't know what to do. She didn't know whether to allow her daughter to continue living or to, which would have been just on tubes, all right, or to pull all of those things and to allow her to pass. And she didn't come to me to ask that question and have me give her her answer. She came to me because she wanted to see if it was possible to connect with someone who's in a coma. And she just wanted to touch base with her daughter. Her daughter's name was Olivia. And she came to me in the midst of my divorce. And at the time, I didn't want to do any sessions. I just felt like I can't handle it. My life is all up in crazy chaos, and I couldn't make a decision. Also, was struggling with whether to leave or to stay in my marriage. And oddly enough, this lady comes to me and wants to have a session and try to connect with her daughter, who is in a coma, and her daughter basically is stuck in limbo, can't decide whether to leave or to stay. Do you see a similarity there with what I was going through? This was definitely a crossing, what I call crossing of souls at the time. And when I did finally say, okay, I'm gonna just meditate and see if this is even possible, because I've never connected with someone in a coma before. I allowed myself to get quiet and get still, and I tuned in, and I got a flood of information about a hospital room, pictures that were up, people that were surrounding her bed, people who were grabbing and massaging her feet, candlelight vigils that were happening for her mom being concerned about money and whether to keep forking over money, right, to keep her alive. Information about her legs, that she would not be able to walk even if she did come out of her coma. All of this information that was validated and confirmed with her mom, with Julie. This is not evil, you guys. What I do, I have had to come to terms with that there are people out there who are just plain scared of this. And it's because they live in a state of fear anyway. And that's not where I'm at. I do this from my heart, and I do this from a place of love. And it has taken a lot of work on my end and a lot of acceptance on my end to get to that point. If you need that support to get there too, then you know what to do. I'm here for you, okay? So you guys, I hope that you're feeling more empowered after watching this. You have the tools to tune in, to simply do this, and just know that you will get, when you work with these tools, you will get clear information. Your decisions will come more easily. You'll be able to set boundaries with people, all right? Remember those negative family members we were talking about, and also spirits on the other side, okay? You can set boundaries, you guys, with, remember I was having all the spirits coming all at once. You can tell them no, okay? You can set those boundaries. You'll get more of an understanding about your own energy. You'll start to see it as a gift. Your confidence naturally grows as you are able to validate information. So when I was able, every time that I've done a session, my confidence boosts a little bit more. It's not to say that I'm getting arrogant. It's to say that I am feeling more confident in my heart about what I do. And that's a strength, okay, that I've had to build from within. I have had people, even my ex, telling me that what I do is evil. And there are low vibrational beings out there. I'm not saying that they're not there, but it's not what I work with, okay? It just absolutely isn't. I just don't even allow it. And if you work with a good medium or a good psychic, you will know, because they will not put you in a state of fear when you do a reading. If they do put you in a state of fear at all, then you should just get up and tell them thank you and just walk away. Okay? This is about helping you strengthen from within to help you feel better, to help you feel more confident, to help you sleep better, to give you that peace of mind so that you don't feel the anxiety. When that happens, you guys, it appears as if you're glowing. It appears as if you're radiating from within. I can't tell you how many people tell me all the time, you're glowing. You have just like this glow around you. And they're always telling me, you know, that I'm an angel. That's because I'm accessing a love vibration. That doesn't come from accessing a lower vibration. You can tell when you see people who are accessing lower vibration. Okay, so how can you learn more? What worked for me was I had to go to teachers. It started with books for me, and then at some point that just wasn't enough. And I ended up going to meditation classes and to seminars and meeting with teachers. And then at some point I found the teachers that I connected with, that I got true feelings like connection with. And I had been struggling with some of these things my entire life. These were things that I had struggled with since I was a child. And, you know, these spirits coming to me, especially, these are things that I was experiencing in the night. I was being woken up even as I grew up, being older in my 20s and my 30s. Experiencing anxiety, spinning thoughts. My life felt very out of balance. I never felt very settled about things. It wasn't until I found these teachers and I was able to have these conversations with them that I started to understand what was happening to me as a unique experience, what my spirit was trying to learn here, and what I was trying to access. So I reached out, I tried many things, but what worked for me was a teacher, all right? A person that actually helped me to awaken to my true self and showed me how to listen to my own energy. And I think that's really key. If you're looking for a teacher, you don't want to just mimic or copy somebody. There's so much out there right now, you guys, that you can get sucked into and end up copying other people's stuff. And I'm all about, I want to get with you and see what your unique spirit is here to do. You have unique experiences from when you're born all the way up to now. And those unique experiences make you who you are. And those things, those skills, those abilities, those gifts that you have, they're all emerging because of those unique experiences that you've had through those years. So now it's time to harness them and learn how to use them to your advantage, all right? And especially to help, to help in this world. So how my life changed from where it was to what it is now. Many things were not a fit for me, okay? I've mentioned a couple of times in this video that I had gone through a divorce. And when I first met my first husband, there was a lot of love. And even as we split things off, there was still, I have to say, we did it very amicably, as good as we could. But it was definitely showing in our paths that we were not aligned. Okay, we both basically gave up who we were to make this thing work. And you should never have to do that. You should, it's okay to compromise in a relationship. It's okay to be tactful and compromise and, and fit in to a degree. Okay, but you have some unique abilities. And this is not about trying to fit your, true self into this standardized, rule-bound, world. As you can see, our world has a lot of problems. And I think it's because we're all trying very hard to make everything so standardized. And there is something to be said about having variety and uniqueness in the world. I mean, that's why we appreciate different types of art, because there's variety there. If it was all the same exact art, it would be very boring, and we would never learn anything. Art evokes emotion. And just like with your own gifts, with your own abilities, these things, again, they come from this complex, right, multifaceted you. So my life changed in a huge way. I went from being a complete victim to my gifts, not even seeing them as gifts. I use the word gift now, but back then I did not use that word. They were more like annoyances to me. All right. It was just flat out frustrating for me. But now, then something shifted. Once I got my teacher, once I really started to allow myself to open up, once I got more into my heart space, I started to realize that these gifts they were a part of me. They're part of my path, and they are what I am meant to do here. And when I came to that place of full acceptance about my gifts, that's when everything started to really shift and change for my life. Everything started to kind of fall more into place, and I started to feel more at peace. And anytime that I don't feel at peace, because I still do, right? To this day. I mean, we're human beings. We're always going to have something that comes up and kind of nudges us and says, okay, it's time to shift, again. But I've learned, right, how to tune into that and understand it as, okay, that is something that's trying to give me information now. It's not trying to make my life difficult. It's here to actually help me. So when you look at it that way, it actually provides you with this sense of peace in a sense, because you're now understanding the whole point to why you get these feelings in your body. You're accessing them as help, okay, as opposed to just denying them and saying these things are just aggravating me, okay? So your life changes on a huge level. All right, so I also want to cover this. I get this a lot. A lot of people say to me, yeah, but I'm going through something really difficult in my life right now, and there's no way that I have time for this. I just cannot access my gifts. I don't want to worry about sharing them with the world. Believe me that I had to learn this the hard way. All right. When I was going through my divorce, I was feeling very sad, very disconnected. And it wasn't until that woman, Julie, reached out to me and kind of persisted, about it. Like she wanted some help. And when I finally said, okay, I'm going to go with the flow on this, that was when everything kind of just started to make sense to me. It was like, oh my gosh, look at all the weird coincidences here. Look at how her daughter, Olivia, is in this limbo state and is kind of coming through to push her mom to contact me. And then they are kind of as a team, right? This mother and daughter, I mean, they weren't able to connect yet because the mom didn't have tools to do that yet. But in a sense, they were acting as a team and coming to me, and I just had to go. I had to become a part of that team in order for us to all flourish. So you see, it truly is about when people come into your life, and you may feel a little bit of resistance around that. Now, the tricky thing is determining whether, when someone comes into your life, if it's a yes or no, right, to be around them. And then whether this is like a life kind of life-changing situation when this person's coming into your life. It can be hard to know that right off the bat. And what I suggest if you do come into that kind of situation is to get really quiet and do a meditation for yourself and meditate and ask from your heart, is this something that I'm meant to do? Am I supposed to connect with this person? And if you get quiet and still enough, generally you will get your answer. You will hear, not only a yes, if you're meant to, but you also hear why. Okay, so you will get kind of like this, oh, okay, I'm supposed to meet with this person, and then if you follow through, that's when you're going to get even more of your why. For me, I had my aha moment when I realized that Olivia was in a limbo state and I was also in a limbo state. And that the true message here was about being in your heart and being in a place of love when you have to make your decision and coming at a decision from a higher place as opposed to a place of fear. Okay. So know that the ones who are coming to you, they're coming to you for help right now, but there's usually a reason behind that. Okay. So the other thing that I want to cover with you guys is knowing your worth. All right. People are usually reaching out to you because they see you. When I say the word see, it's like seeing you on a deeper level. Okay. They actually understand your worth. They get that there's more there going on, that you're a true, awake, aware person. So when someone's reaching out to you for help, they are seeing something special in you. And generally, that's because if you are aware, if you are awake, you are generally shining, we call it like your light, okay? You're generally shining, and people see that as that you can help. So you don't have to be amazing. You don't have to be like this amazing, psychic medium, right? Who's on TV or something. You just have to be you. That's all that person is asking for when they come to you for help. When a family member, a friend, or even if you go into your own business at some point with this, it's just being you. And I'm not even pushing you, to go into your own business. I love if you can do that for yourself, but I more or less want to see you doing this from a place of being a heart-centered being, walking about the earth and knowing when you are supposed to either help, right? Or, listen for somebody or do something in particular or say something. These are the actions that you take after you get the feelings and see things and hear things. All right. And always coming from a positive place, always coming from a place of higher good, right? The golden rule, never hurt anyone. Okay. So know that you have value. All right. This is your true worth. When you tap into who you truly are, at some point after you have been working with this for a period of time, you can definitely receive payment or an exchange for helping and using your gifts. But the most important thing is to just start believing in yourself right now. Okay. How do I know if this is for you? If you're an empath, right? If you're feeling called to upgrade your gifts or know them even more fully in a more deep way, if you're ready to find out more about your gifts, how you can use them on a daily basis, right, for your daily life to make tough decisions, if you're tired of spinning your wheels, if you're just flat out tired of that and you want to feel more empowered, more connected, then this is for you. All right. We are definitely seeing a surge of people who are starting to become more awake and more aware because that is definitely needed on our planet. So there is this surge of what we call light workers of light coming in, to this planet. And we definitely need that more. So how can I help? It's for you, you guys. How can you help, right? I am working with a select group of people, and I want you guys to definitely tune in, feel this out, see if you are ready, see if you feel like you want to access your gifts more, and really kind of sense this out for yourself. Generally, the way that I work with people is if you are working through a current life situation, um, it's usually something that's very important for your path. So I am reaching out to people who not only feel like they have their gifts and they don't know really how to tap into them fully, but I'm also looking for people who are going through current life situations. Okay, that might be something really dramatic in your family. That might be something with your relationship. That might be something with your work. Because what that tells me is that you are definitely going through a transition. You are definitely going through a change. And it's time for you to upgrade. And we have a tendency to want to feel comfortable and want to stay stuck in those situations. And so my gift to you in doing this work with you is not only helping you to see how this life situation means a lot to your path, it gives you hints about what your gifts are. And you start to use your gifts in conjunction with going through that current life situation. So we actually use, if you can kind of picture this, we use the current life situation to help you access your gifts. It's a little bit like, if you want to think of like an X-Men movie, I don't know if that's a good example if some of you don't watch those kinds of movies, but it's like having some kind of drama in your life, a challenge come up, and then you're kind of like pushed into having to use your gift, whatever that might be. Okay? That is always the case. That is always what happens, right? We always think that the darkness is like this place we don't want to go. There's the light and the dark. You have to access the dark stuff in order to see your light, okay? You can't have one without the other. There is no light without dark, okay? So that's what I'm looking for in people. So if you feel that, then I want you to please reach out to me. Okay, this is something that I'm offering to people right now. I'm only doing a few of these because I can only handle so much of this at a time. Energetically, I protect my energy, and I only want to work with a few people. Okay, so what I'm offering is a call, and on that call, we're going to be accessing your gifts. We're going to determine if there are some blocks for you or challenges going on in your life. You probably are already, if you're feeling compelled to do this call, you probably already know what that challenge is. And then we're going to create a plan to get you onto your path. Okay, and part of that plan is you and I working together personally. So if you feel like that is you, then I would love for you to please reach out to me, okay? I want to help you turn your gifts into a blessing. That's this little word that's hiding behind me here, okay? I want to help you turn your gifts into a blessing. So let's help you figure out what you can do next to expand your gifts. I want to help you find more peace and more balance in your life. I want to help you figure out what's causing all this overwhelm for you. And I want you to think of this as a blessing. I don't want you to think of your abilities as a burden anymore. Okay, let's totally transform that for you. So you don't know what you don't know. Okay, this is something that I so understand this. Like, I remember being there. I remember not understanding what my gifts were. I struggled with them. I didn't know they were gifts. I felt tortured by them. And my life is completely different now. I am remarried, and I found a man who embraces what I do. He actually brags, to people about me. He supports me fully in it. In fact, he has read probably more books and gone to more seminars than I have on this spiritual world. He's probably got way more training, way more smarts in it. And what's beautiful is the two of us work together at times. So he bounces off me, I bounce off him. And it really does feel like we were meant to find each other. It's so much fun meeting him and then living this life together now, and just having this adventure and exploring and trying to understand, like, okay, what are we meant for here, and that's something that he and I are still working with. That's unfolding for us in a very beautiful, constant way. So please reach out if you definitely don't even know, and you just have like a curiosity after watching this video, but something is kind of like nudging at you really strongly, then please reach out to see. If you're feeling a lot of heartache over things, if that's really what's getting to you, then know that feeling is information. It's trying to get through. It's trying to help you understand. But I know that if you're trapped in emotion, that there's no way to possibly understand your gifts, because you cannot access your gifts in an emotional state. That is just something I know as a fact, being a spiritual worker. You have to set aside emotion to allow that flow to be coming through you. Okay, that's why people access and use mediums when they have a loved one who's crossed over, because you personally have a connection to that loved one. You feel too much emotion with them. But if you're able to have a medium, someone in between, connect with them for you, that person isn't as emotional. Okay, they probably have no bond or tie to the person at all. So you see, that is how our gifts work. All right, so you may not even know really truly what's going on, but I encourage you to please reach out if you definitely feel, that call, if something's tugging at you to do this. So how do you do this? You go ahead and visit my website. It's at amandagatlin.com/apply. Okay, and that's where you will sign up for a phone call. And you'll have a day and time that you select there. And there's only going to be a few of those right now. I will open that up at later dates. But right now, I'm just doing this because I have this calling, like I said, in meditation to work with a group of people. Now, we will be working individually. Okay, so when you and I talk, when we are working, we'll be working individually. And I think that's important because I want to help you tap into your unique gifts. Now, at some point down the road, I may bring the group together because I think it's important for you to meet with other people who are going through the same things. And you can also practice with one another. So I definitely have that happen at certain times in the year. And I will definitely let you know when that is. But for right now, if you feel that call, if you're wanting to tap into your energy and into your gifts and understand them on a deeper level, then please go ahead and go to that website, to that webpage at amandagatlin.com, apply, and try to check out a day and time that will work for you. Okay. If the time slots close down, if the day and time slots close down and something's still nagging at you, then please reach out to me. My email address is discoveryourenergy@yahoo.com. Okay, so that's wrapping up this webinar, you guys. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for spending the time with me here. Thank you for taking the time to really feel things out for yourself, and give yourself kind of like a moment of gratitude for giving yourself this time just to like be with, you know, your true gifts, to try to understand things on a deeper level. I'm sure that your spirit is probably a little bit like, oh my gosh, what is this, you know? So if you're feeling that, then please reach out, all right? That is the kind of person I know supposed to be working with right now. All right, so I'm sending you all my love, you guys. And if you have any questions, also, please send them my way. All right, much love to you. Bye.